So it's getting to be that time of the year where everyone must stifle their depression and smack on a fake smile. So I wanted to give you something to maybe clear out those pesky aunts and uncles at your family get together. So it is that unfortunate time of the year, and I was able to check this out while we got invited to Horror Hound last weekend, which was pretty fucking cool, and this movie was by far my favorite movie they showed there. Also, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, which, let me get into that later, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you might think like, oh, this looks like something else I've seen, and it has gone through a name change. It used to be Safe Neighborhood, now it's Better Watch Out, and here we are. So Better Watch Out is about a kid who's too old to have a babysitter, and we'll dive more into that in a moment. But he's too old to have a babysitter, and his babysitter is only a few years older than him. I think they say she's like 5, but she doesn't really look it. But his parents are going out for some kind of Christmas festivity, so they bring in the babysitter, and he's madly in love with her, and he says, tonight's the night, it's gonna happen. So he tries to pull a move on her, and it doesn't work out, and then there's a knock on the door, and more shit doesn't work out for him. So like I said, this kid's way too old to have a babysitter, and I just did a review for The Babysitter, in which the kid was way too fucking old to have a babysitter. And this is a personal thing of mine, but stuff like that takes me out of movies. Like, this kid should be driving, it looks like he's going to be driving in a year, and yet you're having him at home with a babysitter. Stuff like that mentally can take me out of a movie. Now, is that going to ruin this movie? No. And as this movie unfolds, you're like, all right, this was definitely better fit for a kid who's a little bit older for a certain reason, but let's go ahead and dive into that too. If you have not watched the trailer for this movie, don't fucking do it. There's a certain point in this movie where something happens. There's a turn, and it's ruined in the trailer. If you go into this movie blindly like I did, you're gonna have a much better time with it. Now, the main kid is played by Levi Miller, and this kid does a pretty damn good job, but I really think he's outshined by Ed Oxenbould and Olivia DeJonge, the two kids from The Visit, and they were the best part in The Visit. That's good, The Visit sucked. But I still say they're the better actors. Not that Levi Miller did a bad job, I just wasn't able to believe his character at all times. Now, he had the more dynamic of a character. His character, I have to be very vague because I don't want to spoil anything myself, but he definitely has the wider range of character in this movie, so I can see why his character may be a little bit harder, but also he's just kind of stale. He just looks like your everyday average white boy. And I mean, that's basically what he is. But I wasn't always able. Alright, I can't say that. It's not that I didn't believe him. I believed at times, at points, he was much more believable. Again, he did do a bad job. And actually, there's a few parts in this movie where he acted his damn heart out and he did really well. He's just better believable at certain instances than others. But to go back to Olivia DeJonge and Ed Oxenbould, they are great just as they were in The Visit. He is not a little weird rapping kid now, and that's probably for the better too, but they both do a great job. Now, as I said, something happens in this movie and it was very unexpected, and I hope you guys get that same unexpectedness that I did. If you watched the trailer already, fuck, sucks to be you. Because this movie is much better. I think if you watch the trailer, if I had already foreseen what was going to happen, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed this movie as much. But going into it blindly and taking that turn that I did not see coming, that definitely fucking helped. But I have watched this movie a couple times now, and I will admit that after the first time, I kind of sunk in, and since I was able to foresee and knew what was going to happen, the twist, and not only the twist, just everything getting from A to Z, there are some bits where I feel like they're a little bit far-fetched. Like, that's crazy to come from here to here. That's a very wide step to take. And it's not that they executed it poorly, it's just when you really sit down and think about it, if you're an asshole like I do, I sit down and I will break down every movie to a molecular level. When you break it down, you're like, this is a little far-fetched. It's hard to believe that you can go from this to this. And where I did enjoy the journey, if I'm thinking about it from, I guess, within my own brain, things like that take me out of it. But again, don't get me wrong, things like this, when I sat down, I broke it down. Yeah, I was kind of like, that's a little far-fetched, but this is still a damn good movie. It's something you should absolutely put on your list. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and say, don't put it on your short list. Out of all the plethora, the fuckload of movies that have come out in the last couple months, and some of the ones getting ready to still come out in the future, this isn't one I think that you're like, you need to watch it at this moment. You need to get it in your fucking head. I don't think it's there. It's one you definitely should watch, and especially with the seasons coming up. And I actually think this releases on Blu-ray and DVD. I'll say on the 5th of December. So it's that certain time. Like I said, if you got some of those aunts and uncles who you're just like, get the fuck out of my personal space, pop this movie around the joyous time of the year, and I bet you can scare a few of them off. But again, if you're not in the mood for a Christmassy horror movie, you don't have to shortlist it. Watch it, don't shortlist it. Something you guys do need to put on your shortlist is Audible. We are very busy people, or like me, you're lazy and you just don't want to sit there and take the time to read a book page to page. So I have somebody read that shit to me. I mean, it's perfect for when you're just cleaning up around the house or in your car, pop on Audible, have somebody read the book to you, saves you a ton of time. It's really a multitasker's dream. And of course, we're here to give you guys a hookup. If you go to audibletrial.com/modernhorrors, we are going to give you an extended free trial and a free credit to use on a book of your choosing. I myself am listening to it to see how it compares up to the new movie and Turn of the Screw because I've heard a ton of good things. So again, go to audibletrial.com/modernhorrors. And until next time, guys, I will see you later.